day, senior high school learners. Welcome to our Earth Science class. The situation we are currently into serves as a reminder of how the world and our way of life has drastically changed. As we go through it, we learn how to value our life and our dear Mother Earth. So, today, we will discover how special and dynamic our planet Earth is. At the end of this class, we are expected to explain that the Earth consists of 4 subsystems, across whose boundaries matter and energy flow. Before we begin, I would like to ask everyone to, may I have your attention please, and prepare your learning resources and also your learning materials that are available. Without further ado, let's begin. Let us first play a word hunt. All you have to do is to type in the comment section the word or words that you can see which represent why Earth is a special planet. So, are you ready? Let's begin. What will be the first word that you can find? Okay, water. That's good. Another? Oxygen. Very good. Atmosphere. Goldilocks zone. Okay, can you find another word? Perfect density. Very good. I think we only have another one last word. And that is good size. Okay, excellent. Thank you for your cooperation. All of the words that you identified represent why Earth sets it apart from the other planets in the solar system. Like, it has a perfect distance from the sun. Second, it has thick atmosphere. Third, has a good size and mass. Next, it has powerful magnetic field. And moving on, with the presence of water. Lastly, it has substantial amount of oxygen. Looking at the picture of the Earth, what are the things that you immediately notice? You'd probably see land, maybe bodies of water, and also clouds. These things that you observe are actually parts of the physical environment of the Earth. Earth is a dynamic planet, and each part of the Earth, air, water, and life are interconnected and continuously interacts with one another. The interacting parts that form a complex whole define a system. The interacting parts in Earth's system are called subsystems or spheres. Do you have any idea what are the different subsystems of the Earth? Yes, you got that right. Okay, there are 4 subsystems of the Earth, namely geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere. Let us start with the first subsystem, the geosphere. It is the largest among the 4 spheres. Geo comes from a Greek word meaning ground. The geosphere comprises the solid portion of the Earth. It is also the skeleton of our planet. All of the spheres are built on top of it. It is made of all the rocks and minerals on Earth. Can you cite some examples of this geosphere? All of the landforms that those rocks and minerals make up of the geosphere. Like for examples, the volcanoes, mountains, the continents, and also the ocean floors. The geosphere is further divided into different layers, which are the crust, the mantle, the core. So the core is divided into inner core and the outer core. We can represent the Earth using this hard-boiled egg. The thin, brittle shell of the egg is like the crust, which is the Earth's surface layer. The white of the egg is like the thick layer just below the crust, which is called the mantle. And the yolk is like the core that is located at the center of the Earth. Now, are we done discussing, or we are done discussing the geosphere? So let us proceed to the second subsystem of the Earth, and we call it the atmosphere. If we will compare the atmosphere with this apple, the atmosphere of the Earth with this apple, the atmosphere would only be as thick as the apple skin. Atmosphere is a protective layer of gases that surrounds the Earth. It comes from the Greek word atmos, meaning air. It is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% of other types of gases. It provides the exchange of gases that we need for respiration. It also protects us from too much ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. The atmosphere is divided into several layers based on the temperature. Let us see if you can name all of the layers of the atmosphere. From the Earth's surface, the layers of the atmosphere are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and lastly, the exosphere. Let us now proceed to the third subsystem of the Earth, and we call it the hydrosphere. Hydro comes from a Greek word which means water. It contains all the solid, liquid, and gaseous water. It accounts for more than 70% of the Earth's surface area. This is the reason why the Earth is called the blue planet. All of the water on Earth is in the hydrosphere, like water in the oceans, in the lakes, in the rivers, seas, and also the water trapped in glaciers as ice, and the water deep underground. Even the moisture in the air, such as the rain and snow, are also part of the hydrosphere. About 70% of the Earth is covered with liquid water. The 97% of it is from the ocean, or it forms the ocean, which is also called salt water. Only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh. The 2/3 of it is in the form of ice, and the remaining 1/3 is present in streams, lakes, and groundwater. Earth's water is constantly recycled through the water cycle. Water keeps changing in state. As it goes through the cycle, the water cycle includes processes such as evaporation, condensation, and also precipitation. Now that we are done discussing geosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere, let us now proceed to the last subsystem of the Earth, and it is called the biosphere. Bio comes from a Greek word meaning life. The biosphere includes all forms of life. It is referred to as the zone of life. It includes living things found in the deepest part of the ocean and in the highest part of the atmosphere. The biosphere is divided into biomes. Biomes are the world's major communities. It is a type of environment that is defined by the types of organisms that live there. This includes aquatic, like freshwater, and marine water. Another one will be forest. Next will be desert and tundra. Finally, we are done in the discussion for the 4 subsystems of the planet Earth: the hydrosphere, the geosphere, the atmosphere, and the biosphere. So, do you think these subsystems or spheres work together? How do they interact on or with one another? Let's do a simple activity. All you need to do is to observe the diagram here and describe how the subsystems interact with one another. For example, how the atmosphere interacts with the hydrosphere and vice versa. How about the geosphere as it interacts with the atmosphere? And if the atmosphere, how it interacts with the geosphere. Next, the geosphere with the hydrosphere and also vice versa. And lastly, the biosphere with all the 3 subsystems. Just type in your answers in the comment section, and I will be giving you just 30 seconds to provide an answer. Are you ready? So your timer will start now. Ma'am, yung ano. Okay, time's up. Okay, your timer stops. So we have an answer here. It says here that water from the hydrosphere will be used by the living organisms like trees and animals. Okay, that one comment is correct. Let's look for another answer from the comments. Okay, this is one. It says here, the oxygen from the atmosphere will be used by the animals for respiration. That is also a very good answer. Thank you for sharing your answers in the comment section. Now, let us find out how are these subsystems interact with one another. First, the atmosphere. The atmosphere interacts with the geosphere by providing heat and energy needed for rocks to break down and also in erosion. The geosphere, in return, will reflect the sun's energy back into the atmosphere. The hydrosphere and the atmosphere connect. Evaporation from the hydrosphere provides the medium for the clouds and the rain formation in the atmosphere. The atmosphere brings back the water to the hydrosphere. Water provides the moisture and the medium for weathering and erosion of rocks in the geosphere. The geosphere, in return, provides a platform for ice to melt and the bodies of water to flow back into the oceans. The biosphere receives gases, heat, and sunlight in a form of energy from the atmosphere. It receives water from the hydrosphere and a living medium from the geosphere. Earth system interact by exchanging matter and energy. The cycling of matter and energy in the Earth systems makes life on Earth really possible. Energy moves back and forth between spheres. The sun is the Earth's major source of energy. When light when light energy reaches the Earth, three things may happen. Number one, some of the light energy is reflected back to space in the form of infrared radiation. Number two, some of the transmitted through the objects. And number three, some are absorbed and captured in photosynthesis. When light energy reaches Earth, plants change this energy into chemical energy through the process of photosynthesis. Then, the energy is passed to organisms that ate the plants. Energy and matter are also passed between organisms when they eat one another. Dead organisms break down the decomposer by the decomposers, such as bacteria and fungi. The decomposers break down the remains into a more simple materials. These materials, such as carbon dioxide, are used by the plants to make food during photosynthesis. The sun radiates the light energy that reaches the Earth's surface. The heats the Earth's surface unevenly. This uneven heating causes the air in the atmosphere to move. The cold air in the atmosphere sinks. And the cold air sinks. As the cold air sinks, it forces the warm, less dense air to rise. This movement of the air distributes energy throughout the atmosphere. The transfer of energy, especially heat, due to the movement of matter such as air, is called convection. That explains how the subsystems interact with one another and how the Earth is so special. Aren't we so lucky to be given this place to live in? What are your thoughts about this? Okay, to wrap up our topic for today, let us recall the four subsystems and how this sphere interacts by answering the following questions. You will be given 5 seconds for each question. Just type in the letter of the correct answer in the comment section. So, are you ready? Choose the letter of the correct answer. Okay, number 1. All living things on Earth are a part of the A. Biosphere, B. Geosphere, C. Hydrosphere, and D. Cryosphere. Okay, the answer is biosphere. Okay, for the next question. The geosphere is letter A, all liquid water on Earth, B, frozen water on Earth, C, a 100 kilometer thick layer of gases, D, Earth's entire solid body? Your answer will be letter D. Very good. Earth's entire solid body. For number 3, wind can carry seed to a new place. So more plants can grow and interact between, and these interactions are between A, hydrosphere and geosphere, B, biosphere and geosphere, C, geosphere and atmosphere, and letter D, atmosphere and biosphere. Choose the correct answer. Just the letter. And your answer is, okay, letter D, atmosphere and the biosphere. Let's move on to the next number 4. Okay, water availability impacts plant growths and animals who depend on plants for food are interactions between the A, hydrosphere and biosphere, B, biosphere and geosphere, C, hydrosphere and atmosphere, and letter D, geosphere and atmosphere. Okay, so you got the correct answer. The answer for this question is hydrosphere and biosphere. For the last item, okay, bacteria and algae convert nitrogen from the air into a form that is usable by plants and animals. These interactions are between A, hydrosphere and geosphere, B, biosphere and geosphere, C, geosphere and atmosphere, and letter D, biosphere and atmosphere. Your answer will be letter D, biosphere and atmosphere. Okay. You got it all correct. I hope that you have learned from the lesson for today, from our lesson for today. If you have any questions and clarifications, just write your questions in your notebook and you may ask your Earth Science teacher on your next meeting. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.